Hey, it's Kevin Syracuse from Sports Hour. We're live here at the Bills game.
You get that?
You get that? Good evening and welcome into our third episode of Sports Hour of the year. I am your host, Kevin Syracuse, joined by Aaron Sember, our NFL analyst.
What's up, guys?
And we will be starting with NFL like normal. And Aaron, we have a few extra minutes to talk about the NFL this week. We cut out the MLB for this week. We're in the middle of the divisional series, so we will pick up with that next week. Just a quick note, though, the Astros just beat the A's 10-5. The Yankees and the Rays. First pitch is any moment now, so go Yankees. And then we will have the Padres and Dodgers tomorrow, and then the Marlins and the Braves. So, like I said, we will be back with the MLB next week. D will be back with that, and we'll talk about the ALCS and the NLCS, which will be starting next Sunday and Monday. So, as for football, we have to start with who else but the Bills?
4-0.
One of the hottest teams in the league right now.
Yeah.
Josh Allen, one of the hottest quarterbacks in the league, and everything is rolling right now.
I know you're in the best mood, so. Yeah, but like I said, the Bills are 4-0. They're playing great. I really think, in my opinion, Stephon Diggs is one of the main reasons why the Bills are so hot lately, because Allen finally has a wide receiver one, you know. If you like to do your little commentary, because I know.
Well, there he found Cole Beasley,
For
He's
getting hot
flipping
too.
touchdown. And you talk about wide receivers. I mean, he has so many weapons. When he came into the league in 2018, the Bills had Kelvin Benjamin, Charles Clay, Deontay Thompson, Zay Jones, who was playing against the Bills yesterday for the Raiders. And his dad tweeted after the game, that was one of the most boring games ever. I think he's still a little bit mad from the trade.
Oh, word.
Anyways, that's not our problem anymore. But now, fast forward 2 years, you have Stephon Diggs, John Brown,
targets.
Cole Beasley, Gabe Davis, who caught that first touchdown. I mean, he has so many weapons. The Bills have surrounded him with so many pieces. And here he just airs it out to Stephon Diggs, who just mossed his defender. I mean, it's crazy.
You know, I think that Diggs has really helped Allen take that next step. You know, you hear about all these times these great wide receiver ones helping quarterbacks, you know, because you throw it to them and they'll catch it. You know, as hard as the catch could be, they'll make the catch elevate the quarterback to an average quarterback to a great quarterback. And I think that's what Diggs has really helped, because he is that veteran presence. He's played, 6 seasons, 7, something like that. So he's a great veteran presence for Allen, because Allen's still young, so he's helping him grow and learn. And I think that they'll be a really good duo for the next coming years.
Yeah, and another interesting factor of this is when Bean and McDermott got here a few years ago, they kept saying how they wanted to be a ground and pound offense that wins with defense. And that's what they were doing the first couple of years. You surround Allen with some weapons, and he just grows immensely in these last few months. And now all of a sudden, they did a complete 180. They are a pass-first offense. They are a high-powered offense, a 2020 offense. You know, this isn't like the old days with the ground and pound, winning with defense, the harsh weather in Buffalo, the winds. No, like they're for real, and it's so fun because we've never had a good offense. Like in our whole lives, I'm 21, you're 21, right? So 21 years. It's been over 21 years since the Bills have actually had an offense.
And it's funny because you mentioned ground and pound, and when I look at Allen, he's huge. He runs like a running back. So, and more often than not, when he likes to do those design runs and whatnot, and I think he has like the most or the second most touchdowns through the last 2 seasons at running touchdowns. So he is a dominant, when he gets in the red zone, I think he thinks, let me look let me look to see who's open. If no one's open, run. And he's great at finding a seam or taking off and getting into the end zone.
Yeah, and did you see that hit yesterday? When all of Buffalo was holding, we were all holding our breath when he exited the game and went to the locker room with the shoulder injury.
I didn't see that.
Well, basically he tried another nice escape for Allen, and he did a little shovel pass to Stephon Diggs for 8 yards. And as he was going down, the defender brought him down. It was a hard tackle. And then Arden Key, one of the D linemen for the Raiders, came in head first, targeting. No penalty was called. And yeah, he hit him in the head. So it could have been a lot worse than it was, and thank God he came back.
Yeah.
Now, the Bills are supposed to be playing in Tennessee next week. So that remains up in the air with the whole COVID thing. Now, Tennessee reported 0 positive cases today. So if they have 2 days in a row of no positive cases, so if they
could play.
all test negative tomorrow, they can open their facility again. So fingers crossed that everything will be back to normal.
Yeah. Talking about the Raiders real quick. So the Las Vegas Raiders are 2-2 now, and they had an impressive win over the Saints last week, and they obviously lost to the Bills. But I do believe that this team could be a wild card team, especially with this new format. I think there's a whole new. I think 2 more teams get in the playoffs this year with this whole new format that's going to stick. So I really
for the
think,
NFL?
yeah, they added a new
thing?
format. Yep, this season. So I really think that the Raiders could get in. You know, they're a really talented team, but obviously, like I said, the Bills are just a better team. Derek Carr had 311 yards. He had 2 touchdowns, and the Bills held Josh Jacobs, who's been playing really good for the Raiders. They held him scoreless in only 48 yards, and Darren Waller, who's really come along these last 2 seasons, he led the team in receiving yards at just shy of 100 yards. I think he had about 98. So like I said, before the season started, I knew that the Chiefs were going to win the division. I really thought they were again. But the Broncos were a team that really stuck out to me to taking the next step. And now with Von Miller, he was out with the ACL, and then
Gerald Casey.
Yeah, Drew Lock not playing for a couple seasons, couple of weeks. Yeah,
Courtland
so all these. So now I really think the Raiders are going to get that second wild card spot.
The Chargers have a ton of injuries too.
Yeah. So
yeah, without further ado, time for Thursday Night Football.
So this game was the Broncos against the Jets, and this was actually a really interesting game. So the Jets are 0-4. They lost the game to the Broncos. They're struggling to find their way with no preseason and no training camp. I honestly think that it's time to fire Adam Gase. I know I'm not involved with the Jets at all, but I really think they have to start fresh. And because since becoming the head coach last season, the Jets have gone 7-13, which is horrible. And
Wait, say that stat again.
Since last season, they've gone 7-13.
Wow.
And Darnold really doesn't deserve New York.
I was going to say, Adam Gase is pretty much ruining him.
Yeah.
Because he was a top prospect coming out of college. I remember watching him. I was like, man, this kid he's nice. And he was supposed to be, it was him and Baker Mayfield.
Yeah.
They were supposed to be the top guns. And now it's Lamar and Josh Allen.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you got to feel for Sam Darnold. Because, I mean, even though it's the Jets and I don't like the Jets as a Bills fan, I mean, I do want to see Darnold succeed.
Yeah. He had a great 46-yard touchdown run. I've never, going back to the times of Mike Vick. Mike Vick was probably the only, one of his runs to the 2001 playoff game. I think besides that run was almost as impressive as the run Mike Vick had. He people were saying he did a fake slide, but yeah.
So now going to the AFC North, another young quarterback who's really fun to watch. Joe Burrow. Got his first win. He had 2 losses, a tie, and now his first win. And he threw for 300 yards again, first quarterback. I believe the first quarterback ever to throw for 3 straight 300 or more yard games.
Yeah.
So he's off to a really nice start here.
Joe Mixon also played great. He had 3 total touchdowns, 2 on the ground, 1 receiving, and he had 181 total yards combined. Tyler Boyd also played really good. He had 90 yards receiving. And the big question here is A.J. Green. He's back. I think he's fully healthy, but he's been invisible this season.
You don't even hear about him.
Yeah. I don't know how the Bengals have to get them going, but they just got to start. And the Jags, 1-3. Minshew played good, but the whole team isn't. So I think he's struggling.
Yeah, the Jaguars are. It was expected that they were going to be bad. I think a lot of people projected them to be the 32nd team in the league, but I think the Jets and Giants are taking over that right now.
Oh, my God.
Another team that's obviously not this low in the rankings because, they have a lot of upside, but Dallas, they're only 1-3 right now.
Yeah.
And sticking with the AFC North, Cleveland took it to them. They almost blew it, but, they still took it to them.
Dallas gave up 306 rushing yards.
Without Nick Chubb.
Without Nick Chubb, who exited the game early. That's unacceptable.
And 49 points, 49-38.
And listen to this. Prescott threw for 502 yards. He had 4 touchdowns and 1 interception. And you usually think if you throw 4 touchdowns, you're winning the game.
And 500 yards.
And 500 yards, but they lost.
It's crazy.
And they didn't know how to wrap up. They couldn't stop Odell. Odell had probably his best game as a Brown so far. That's what I don't know. I don't know what the Cowboys need to do. I mean, right now, because of the NFC East, they're second atop. They're not struggling that much, but I don't know what they have to do.
Yeah, we will be talking about the NFC East more in the next segment with Jared because that's a crazy division to say the least. But going on here now with the AFC North, Baltimore, they won against the football team.
The football team, yeah.
31-17.
So last week, they got pretty much embarrassed by the Chiefs. So they came back hard and intense against the football team, and they looked really good. Lamar had almost 200 yards passing. He had 2 touchdown passes and 53 yards rushing. He also had a rushing touchdown. He had an amazing run for 50 yards of his 53 total yards, which resulted in a touchdown. Ingram also had a touchdown, Mark Ingram, and tight end Mark Andrews had 2, and he's continuing his dominance from last season. I really like Mark Andrews. I think he's a great player. But going over to the football team, they're 1-3 now. Oh no, I'm sorry. Yeah, the football team are they're second atop the NFC East. They were actually.
Yeah, that's how crazy the division is.
They are led by their quarterback, Dwayne Haskins. And, people are saying, should he get benched? What's the deal? I think people should just calm down. I think
he's young.
Yeah, I think he's
got a young team around him.
He's not playing that bad. He didn't score in the air, but he had a rushing touchdown. Antonio Gibson, I think is he a rookie? Antonio Gibson, yeah. So he had a good game. He had a touchdown. And Terry McLaurin, who is one of the young, bright athletes from Washington, had over 100 yards receiving. So Washington, give it a few, maybe not this year, but maybe next season. I could see you guys having a great turnaround.
Now, we have 2 games left to talk about in 3 minutes. So the first one we'll make kind of quick here. Indy and Chicago. The Colts took this one 19-11. The Bears, their first loss of the year. They had Mitch Trubisky for the first 3 games. The Bears could sense that it was starting to not work out. You could see him decline, so they started Nick Foles, and he really did not look good yesterday. His stat line was 26-42, 249 yards, a touchdown, and a pick.
This was a good defensive game. These defenses were really good, and it was a low-scoring game. So usually when you hear that, it means good. Both sides of the defense were really sharp.
So both teams are now 3-1, and now we have a doubleheader on Monday Night Football.
Yep.
So we do have a game in progress right now. Do we have an update on that, Aaron?
Yeah. Here, let me pull it up real fast. I don't really have it on me, but
so it's Kansas City and New England, and luckily they were able to get this game in.
It's 6-3. The Chiefs are on top, and they're at the 2-minute warning of the second quarter. But yeah, I think the final score, we're looking at this now, I don't think it will be this, but I'm still going to go 31-14. Obviously, Cam Newton is out. He contracted COVID, so he's not playing this game. So Brian Hoyer gets a start.
It's interesting that they went with Hoyer over Stidham.
Yeah. I feel like that veteran, because Hoyer's been there so long.
It was so rushed, and with everything going on with COVID, it's probably good to get the veteran in there.
And then, so real quick, I think that Mahomes will have 2 passing touchdowns. You know how the Chiefs usually take a while to start, and then they go crazy. I think my prediction for the rushing game, Clyde Edwards-Helaire will have more than 10 carries, and he'll go probably in between 50 and 70 yards rushing with 1 touchdown. And for the Patriots, I don't really have much, but I think Hoyer will play fine. I think he'll have 1 touchdown, 1 interception, but I think also one of the Patriots running backs will score. I don't know which one, because but I know one of them will. That's probably my prediction.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see how the Patriots can be. I mean, we've got a little glimpse here in the first half, but Hoyer's not terrible, but he's obviously not Cam Newton. So with that, go Chiefs. I'm a Chiefs fan tonight. Yeah. So thanks for coming on, Aaron. And in 2 minutes, Jared will be on to talk about the NFC.
I'll be right back.
Hi. You think you're probably sober?
Yeah.
But you're thinking about taking the back roads home, just in case. If you're probably sober, then why would you do that? Good choice.
Probably okay isn't okay. If you see a warning sign, stop and call a cab, a car, or a friend.
That's a full glass of wine. I'll be chatting you later.
There are 16 million children struggling with hunger in America. That's 1 in 5 daughters, sons, neighbors, and classmates who don't know where their next meal is coming from. Yet billions of pounds of good food go to waste every year. It's time we do something about it. Feeding America is a nationwide network of food banks that helps provide meals to millions of kids and families in need. Visit feedingamerica.org to help them feed even more. Together, we can solve hunger. Together, we're feeding America.
Hamilton was adopted from a rescue in 2008. He really likes to be around people. And as soon as I start to make my breakfast, Hamilton is right there. I get out my mat and I'm doing a downward dog and he's underneath. He's quite the pug about town. He gets invited to a lot of parties. He knows he's a pretty big deal. I mean, look at this little face. How could you not love him?
It's me, Artie. Come see what I collected from the Creative Galaxy in my idea box.
Transform your world.
Will you help me make art?
Before you throw it away,
Hey, I have an idea.
think outside the box.
Go be amazing!
Give your cardboard box another life. Recycle.
Happy to have Jared Marsh back with us now to talk about the NFC. And before we do that, Jared, you're a Bills fan, so I just got to ask, 4-0, first time since 2008
man.
with Marshawn Lynch and Trent Edwards.
That's crazy, man. It really is. It's,
Yeah.
I mean, the Raiders, I mean, they're a tough team. I mean, they're 3-1 now. I mean, it was, or
2-2.
2-2, sorry. Yeah, it was definitely a tough game. It was a great game, though, for sure.
So we had some news earlier this afternoon with another AFC team, a team that is still kind of fresh in Bills fans' memories, but the Texans, and they fired coach and GM Bill O'Brien today. Because he was both, and I think he was kind of tearing that team apart.
Yeah, he was.
I mean, considering he traded DeAndre Hopkins for David Johnson, I mean, that tells you right there. I mean, that's, So good move for Houston, I would think.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, for sure. So the Vikings actually needed this win to stay alive. I mean, they were going into it, and they're definitely, their hopes are, they're up now, and their spirits up. So, I mean, the Texans fall 0-4 now. I mean, I think it was definitely a great move. I mean, they need a miracle. They need something to, get them keep going. So, I mean, maybe this will play out. I mean, I was talking to one of my friends today, and he said they owe the 2 first-round picks to the Dolphins. I don't know if you heard that, but it was
from the Hopkins trade.
Yeah, from the Hopkins trade, they owe 2 first picks to the Dolphins, 2 first-round picks.
Yeah, I knew there were a couple of first-round picks involved. I can't remember how it was with the Dolphins, but yeah.
So, like I said, I mean, the Texans just need a miracle right now.
Yeah, it's not looking good for Houston.
Yeah. No, it's not at all.
Especially with Colts being 3-1. The Titans were 3-0.
Yep.
So they're looking pretty good. The Jaguars are nothing, but yeah, it's not looking good for Houston.
Nope.
At least on the football side. Like I said, the baseball team won. But yeah, big win for Minnesota. They're 1-3 now, and I believe they will be on Sunday Night Football next week against Seattle.
Yep. Ooh, that'll be a great game.
Yeah.
Great game to watch.
So that'll be a big test because Russell Wilson is amazing. We will be getting to him in a couple minutes here. Now the next game on our slate here, Tampa Bay and the Chargers. The Bucs took this one.
This is a really good game. It was very close. I think it was just down by a touchdown, I think the score was. So, you got a rookie quarterback, Justin Herbert, going up against probably one of the best of all time quarterbacks, Tom Brady.
If not the best,
yeah. So it was a great battle of the offenses. Brady ends up throwing 5 touchdown passes. I think the Bucs were, I don't know if it was the first quarter or the second quarter, but I mean, the Bucs were down 21-7.
24-7.
24-7, sorry. And, I mean, they came back, but who other than Tom Brady? I mean, working his magic in Tampa Bay. Oh, it's...
Yeah, no, obviously we'll give credit to Tampa Bay, but at the same time, it's just classic Chargers.
Yeah.
Like every year, you can count on them blowing a big lead and having a ton of injuries, and that's exactly what they've been doing so far this year.
Yeah, they have not looked good. No.
But, I mean... Austin Eckler, he only had 2 rushes for 12 yards. He left with an injury, so that was huge. And obviously they're still without Tyrod with his punctured lung. But Herbert's on the bright side. Justin Herbert, the rookie's looked real good.
Yeah, no, he has, for sure. He definitely has looked good. But, again, it's Tom Brady. I mean, no matter what team this guy plays for. I mean, he could play for the Browns, he could play for any team. It's Tom Brady,
He was 30 of 46. 369 yards, 5 touchdowns, and a pick. Now, I will say that pick was, he threw a pick six, so that wasn't good. But that was one of his only mistakes of the day. So we'll give him that. But yeah, so Tampa Bay is 3-1 now, and the Chargers are 1-3.
That's crazy.
So next, New Orleans and Detroit.
This was also a close game. I mean, you got the Saints here. I mean, you got Drew Brees. I mean, he's a veteran player, He's old, but he's still a veteran player. I mean, Detroit's not bad. I mean, but they're not, they're not great.
They're pretty bad.
I mean, can Drew Brees, like I said, they barely got this out. I mean, can he find his game and keep this win streak up, without Michael Thomas? I mean, they're still without Michael Thomas. I mean, who knows what's going to happen? I mean, Matt Stafford came to play. I mean, he threw 3 touchdown passes. So
Stafford's really good.
Yeah.
If he had a better team around him all these years, the Lions would be so much better. That's one team that you can't say we need better quarterback play.
Yeah.
Stafford's
he
been
is
there.
good. He is good.
He's been real good. It's just the team around him has always been. I mean, like on paper, it's weird with the Lions. I mean, they have a good team on paper all the time, like this year, and it's just not clicking again.
It's
Matt Patricia he might be on the hot seat.
Yeah, I could see them. I could see them firing him. I don't know. We'll have to see what happens with them.
So yeah, they're 1-3 now. The Saints are 2-2.
Yeah.
Breeze, he's been playing well, but he's not the old Drew Brees. I think you can see him slowing down a little bit.
Yeah, definitely.
19 to 25.
Yep.
246 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a pick.
Yeah.
So, we're not seeing those 400-yard games from him anymore.
Like how we used to.
So, all right, next, we will stick with the NFC South here, Arizona and Carolina.
Oh, again, I mean, you got another good game. The Cardinals, again, though, I mean, they're coming off their second loss. I mean, Larry Fitzgerald only has 2 receptions for 4 yards. I mean, it's Larry Fitzgerald. I mean, I think Kenyon Drake actually gets hurt during the game. He hasn't been anything, though, really, this year, I mean, although the Cardinals, I think they were 2-0 to begin with, or 1-0 or whatever. They won their first game. And, I mean, they're just been going downhill lately. I think in every single game, Kyler Murray, he's thrown an interception. Every single game.
Well, he didn't throw one yesterday.
It's not for yesterday, but he's been throwing them lately, and I mean, I don't know. It's definitely gonna be hard to see them. I mean, you know, they have DeAndre Hopkins, Larry Fitzgerald, Kenyon Drake. I mean, they have decent players. That's the thing. I don't know what they need to do to click with it. I mean, I don't know. But
yeah, I mean, they looked for a couple weeks there. They were looking real nice.
Yeah.
And yeah, they're 2-2 now. But I think when you have that many playmakers, they're gonna figure it out.
Exactly,
And they have a
yeah.
nice defense too.
yeah, that's true.
And then for the Panthers here, they're tied with the Saints now. Well, Tampa Bay is leading the division now. They're 3-1.
Yep.
Carolina's 2-2. The Saints are 2-2. So that division's always tight.
Yeah.
So that'll be fun to watch. Teddy
Yeah.
Bridgewater, 26-37, 276 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a pick. They're still without McCaffrey.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. Yep.
Hopefully they'll get him back soon.
Yeah.
And then it'll be really fun to watch. So now going back to the Cardinals here, talking about that NFC West, the next
Yep.
game on our list here, the Giants and the Rams. I think, you know, it's kind of hard to tell with the 49ers now with their injuries, but I think the Cardinals and the Rams, well, there's really not a bad team in this division. They're all going to be fighting for a spot here.
Yeah.
But the Rams took this one over the Giants, are 3-1 now.
Yeah, again, I mean, the Giants, you know, they lose again. They need a miracle. I mean, you know, I was reading something. I was reading an article today, and I mean, they still have hope. I mean, their spirits are high still. I mean, being 0-4, sorry. So would they be suitable for Trevor Lawrence? I mean, if they finish last, I mean, you know, they get the first overall pick. I mean, that'll definitely be good news for them. But right now, I mean, they need something. I mean, and going off to the Rams, I mean, you know, the offense, they didn't look as good, you know. I mean, Goff throws for 25, 32, 200 yards and 1 touchdown. I mean, that's not bad, but it's not like, you know, I thought the Rams would demolish the Giants. I mean, their offense is really good. I mean, you got Robert Woods, Cooper Kupp. I mean, I don't know. I mean, their defense held them in. I mean, it's very hard to lose to the Giants, but I mean, who knows? I mean, we've seen it before. So there was also some drama with Golden Tate.
That's
and
right, yeah.
Julian Ramsey.
I forgot to watch a video of that.
Yeah. So I was reading an article. They got in a big fight after the game. Brianna Tate, that's Golden Tate's sister. She was Ramsey's former girlfriend, and they were together. And he got her pregnant, and then he left her for a Las Vegas dancer. So he pretty much just got up and left. So they had a big fight after the game. It was big drama.
Dang.
Big drama in LA.
Wow, I didn't know all that.
Yeah.
Like I said, I didn't see the video. I mean, I saw it on Twitter, but like I forgot to watch it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's
Ooh.
interesting. So yeah, that NFC West. I mean, so the Rams are in second place now. They're 3-1. The Cardinals are 2-2. The 49ers are 2-2. We'll be talking about them in a minute here. And the other team that we have to talk about before the 49ers, Seattle. Because, again, they are looking amazing. On paper, I didn't even think they were going to be that good, but Russell Wilson is just taking this team to another level.
I mean, you know, we talked about it last week. I mean, again, Seattle coming off perfect. 4-0 with, I mean, Russell Wilson, he's playing with an MVP pace right now. I mean, with total 16 touchdowns, and I mean, right behind him, Josh Allen 15. So again, I mean, it's going to be that battle like you and Aaron were talking about earlier. I mean, you got Russell Wilson, Josh Allen. I mean, it's gonna come down like who's gonna lose first, who's gonna have that choke, so to say. I mean, I definitely think Seattle could be a Super Bowl bound team though. I mean, who knows? You know, with Russell Wilson and all that.
With Russell Wilson, I mean, anything's pretty much possible.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, he's just carrying this team. And Pete Carroll, great coach.
Oh, yeah, great coach.
DK Metcalf, a real nice season. The defense is always going to be there for Seattle. They're not the Legion of Boom, but they're always going to be tough on defense. And, yeah, I mean, like I was saying with San Fran, those injuries are huge.
Yeah.
Because they lost Nick Bosa for the year. Solomon Thomas.
He's out.
For the year, right?
Yeah, I think for the year, yeah.
I think, yeah. Jimmy G's still out. Kittle was back last night.
Yeah, he was back last night. Yep.
Mostert was still out. He's expected to be back. maybe not next week, but the week after, I would think somewhere.
I think Debu Samuel might be back. They talked about.
Yeah, he played last night.
Yeah, he did. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, that division will be another real interesting one to watch.
Yeah.
And a couple more games here now. So San Fran, who we were just talking about, Nick Mullins did not have it last night. They put in CJ Beathard.
Yeah.
He did have it, but I think it was too little too late.
Yeah. So, I was talking about this last week, the Eagles, they finally come out of this dark hole that they were dragging themselves in. Now they're 1-2-1. You said it good. Who's the starting quarterback now for the 49ers? They pull out Mullins and put in CJ. Who knows? He comes in the game and he gives the 49ers a boost. He completes 9 out of 10 passes and throws a 75-yard touchdown. It's going to be interesting going into week 5. This was a huge game, though, because if the Eagles lost, obviously they still would have been in last, but now that the Eagles won, they moved actually up to first place in the NFC East. And the 49ers moved to last place, all because of the tie.
Yeah, so the Eagles are 1-2-1. They got their first win of the season last night, and now they're in first place. So they're first in the NFC East. Washington is 1-3. They're in second. Dallas is 1-3. They're in third. And then the Giants are 0-4 and last. So, even the Giants, you get 2 wins, you're in first place.
Exactly. It can happen just like that. But I think that's what the Eagles needed. They needed that win.
Yeah, that was huge. Carson Wentz needed that, too.
Yeah, Carson, yes, he did, too.
Because they're starting to feel the pressure. Philly fans, they'll let you hear it.
Yeah.
So, all right, last game here. We have Atlanta and Green Bay. That's about to kick off in about 20 minutes. Like I said, we have the doubleheader tonight. So who do you like here, Green Bay?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So, again, we got another great battle between 2 MVP quarterbacks. You got Matt Ryan and Aaron Rodgers. Although there are some injuries at the Packers, no Devontae Adams. After the hamstring injury in week 2. He sat out last week against the Saints as well. Also, no Lazard tonight. Can the offense come through for Aaron Rodgers? I'm sure they will. It will definitely be a great game. The Falcons got to win. The Falcons got to win tonight. I definitely like Green Bay, though, over Falcons.
Yeah, me too. Even without weapons, Rodgers is just so good that he can make everyone else better around him.
Yeah,
so I like Green Bay by a lot here, actually. I'm going to go 31-14. I'm
going to say the same for that, actually.
All right, so we will see what happens. Was there one last thing I wanted to say? Oh, yeah, yes, the other game. It is 6-3 at halftime now. So real quick, who do you like in that one?
Chiefs. Go Chiefs.
Okay, yep. So Chiefs and Packers tonight. Could we have a preview to the Super Bowl? Possibly. All right, well, thanks for coming on. Meyer will be on in 2 minutes to talk about the NBA Finals.
Hi. You think
I'll be right back.
Hi. You think you're probably sober?
Yeah.
But you're thinking about taking the back roads home, just in case. If you're probably sober, then why would you do that? Good choice.
Probably okay isn't okay. If you see a warning sign, stop and call a cab, a car, or a friend.
That's a full glass of wine. I'll be chatting you later.
There are 16 million children struggling with hunger in America. That's 1 in 5 daughters, sons, neighbors, and classmates who don't know where their next meal is coming from. Yet billions of pounds of good food go to waste every year. It's time we do something about it. Feeding America is a nationwide network of food banks that helps provide meals to millions of kids and families in need. Visit feedingamerica.org to help them feed even more. Together, we can solve hunger. Together, we're feeding America.
Hamilton was adopted from a rescue in 2008. He really likes to be around people. And as soon as I start to make my breakfast, Hamilton is right there. I get out my mat and I'm doing a downward dog and he's underneath. He's quite the pug about town. He gets invited to a lot of parties. He knows he's a pretty big deal. Look at this little face. How do you not love him?
It's me, Artie. Come see what I collected from the creative galaxy in my idea box.
Transform your world
Will you help me make art?
before you throw it away.
Hey, I have an idea.
Think outside the box.
Go be amazing!
Give your cardboard box another life. Recycle.
Meyer Mikulski joins us now for the NBA portion of our show. And Meyer, Miami got a huge win last night to stay alive in this NBA Finals.
Yeah, that win, it was huge for the Miami Heat's confidence, because if they would have lost that game, then it probably would have been a sweep.
Most likely. And Jimmy Butler kept them alive. 40 points, 11 rebounds, 13 assists. So great game from Butler. He carried that team. We'll have more on that game in a little bit. I want to talk about games 1 and 2 first. And this was pretty much all Lakers here. The Lakers took game 1, 116-98, and then game 2, 124-114.
So I think in those first two games, I think the Lakers really did a good job of dictating the pace of the game, offensively and defensively. They were fine. Like Rondo and LeBron, they were really good at getting into the seams of the zone, and AD would be camping in the back of the zone, or also LeBron be camping in the back of the zone, and Rondo or LeBron would find them for an easy dunk or an easy layup. And also on defense, they force a lot of turnovers. Since the Heat, they don't really have like a true point guard, a floor general point guard like a Chris Paul. So it was easy for the Lakers to just force them into turnovers.
Well, especially now with Goran Dragic being out, they really don't have a point guard, as he has a foot injury, and he will probably be out. I was reading a report, it says he's doubtful for game 4 tomorrow night. Now, the good news is Bam Adebayo, who also exited game 1, he is day-to-day, so there's still hope that he could be back. But, I mean, both of those guys, and Jimmy Butler, too, they were all banged up in game 1, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, that was key, obviously, to those first 2 wins for the Lakers. And I think a lot of people, myself included, I was just kind of like, all right, I think it's Lakers are going to sweep them here. You know, I didn't think Miami had it in them, but that was a huge win last night.
Yeah, but that just shows you the Heat culture. They're not backing down from anybody, undermanned or not.
Yeah. So, do you have any other stats you want to talk about from games 1 and 2?
I mean, there's nothing else I really have to say about that. The most important game is game 3 now, since it's fresh in our minds.
Yeah, so like I said, Jimmy Butler had a triple-double last night without Bam Adebayo and Goran Dragic, and he just put this team on his back and said, hey, we're not done yet.
Yeah, and not only that, he did it the unconventional way. He did it in a way that goes against everything analytics stand for. He didn't take a single three-point shot, let alone make one. And he got his points mainly by getting to the free throw line, getting to the rim, and making layups, and also his little post fadeaway that he does. He was doing it a lot against Kentavious Caldwell-Pope.
Yeah, I mean, I was talking about this in our last couple episodes, how it's kind of like Butler's team now. And he hasn't really had like too many like dominating games this year, especially in the playoffs. I mean, the Heat played real nice team basketball, but like last night, it was like all Jimmy Butler. Like he put the team on his back.
And he had a similar game in the series against Milwaukee where he also had 40 points.
Yeah. So I mean, like, he has like done that in spurts, but like it's not like a LeBron type of game where it's just like triple-double every night, putting the team on his back.
But he really doesn't have to because of the players around him.
Yeah. What was that thing with LeBron? LeBron said something to Jimmy Butler. I can't remember what the quote was.
Well, it was actually Jimmy Butler that said, "You're in trouble." Like, I think it was at the end of the game, though, because, like, the Heat had finally won one, and they finally gained their confidence. So I think that's what that's about. But I'm not too sure. You can't read into everything the players talk about in the court.
Yeah, so the final last night was 115 to 104, and now tomorrow night at 9 o'clock will be Game 4. So who do you like in this one?
I think the Lakers will come out and redeem themselves. They know what they have to do. They watched the film today. So I'm confident that they'll figure it out.
Yeah, I don't know. I think the Lakers are still going to win the series. I'm wondering if Miami has it in them to do it again.
It depends on Bam.
Yeah. You know, I think I could see the Lakers winning it in 6. I could see them winning tomorrow, and then Miami winning Game 5,
Yeah.
making it 3-2, and then Miami wins it in
That
Game
was
6.
my original prediction was 6.
Yeah, I think we both said that, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, they've done it without Adebayo. Obviously, last night they did it without him, but can they do it again? That's the question. So if they can get Bam Adebayo back, I mean, that's huge for this team.
Yeah, because I don't think they can get away with not having Bam in Game 4. Because yes, Anthony Davis only scored 15 points, but I don't think he's gonna repeat that. Not a player of his caliber.
I was gonna say, Anthony Davis, he has been completely tearing up this finals.
Yeah,
Because-
for the exception of Game 3.
Oh yeah, Games 1 and 2, he looked real nice.
Yeah, the whole conversation was about who was going to be Finals MVP between LeBron and Anthony Davis. And Game 3, Jimmy Butler stole the show. So it's interesting what that conversation is now.
Yeah, so in Game 1, Anthony Davis led the Lakers with 34 points, 9 rebounds, and 5 assists. And then LeBron had 25 points, 13 rebounds, and 9 assists. And then in Game 2, LeBron led the way with 33 points, 9 rebounds, 9 assists, and then Davis had 32 points, 14 rebounds, and 1 assist. So, I mean, it's been, for as good as Davis has been playing, LeBron is LeBron.
Yeah, exactly.
And he's always going to put up the numbers. And now that he has someone to really play with, I mean, when he was in Cleveland, especially in those last couple of years, he was pretty much all alone. But now, I mean, the assists are coming so easy to him because he has so many guys to dump it off to, especially with Davis now. And he's always going to score, and he's always going to get rebounds. So, I mean, these triple-doubles are just coming so natural to LeBron right now.
And then when he's not on the floor, you have a Rondo that could play relief, pitcher, if you will, baseball reference, and feed AD the ball as well.
Yeah, so, you know, I was talking about this last week, and I think it's worth talking about again because now they're being relied on even more so, how this Miami team is constructed. Because I was saying how I like how they don't have, you know, Jimmy Butler is a star, but they haven't like built a super team. You know, they don't have like a LeBron and an Anthony Davis. Like, they don't have that dynamic duo or the big three. It's Jimmy Butler, and then you have Goran Dragic, Bam Adebayo. He's come on. Tyler Hero, the youngest player to start in the NBA Finals.
Yeah, at 20 years old.
Yeah, Duncan Robinson. Then you have guys like Kelly Olynyk and Jay Crowder.
Kendrick Nunn.
Iguodala's still there.
Even Derrick Jones, the high flyer.
Yeah. And Udonis Haslem is still there too, right? Was he 40 now?
I mean, he's essentially a coach at this point, though.
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy that he's still there, but I really like the way Miami's constructed here.
Yeah.
And like I was saying last week, they have that nice mix of superstars, veterans, and young guys.
I don't know if Jimmy Butler is really a superstar, but he has superstar moments.
Yeah. Well, at least all-star players.
Yeah. And I have a comparison to make real quick. So the Heat, this year's Heat kind of remind me of the 2011 Dallas Mavericks.
Oh,
to where they have like a 1-star and a bunch of really good role players. And also great basketball minds. Don't underestimate that.
Yeah. And now another thing about the Lakers here is we just have a couple minutes left. So yes, obviously, LeBron, Anthony Davis, they're the two main pieces here. But something that you can't overlook is the experience on this Lakers team.
Yeah, exactly.
Because Rondo has been there before. Danny Green was in the finals before.
Yeah.
Dwight Howard was in the finals. Howard was in the 2009 finals with Kobe.
Yeah, J.R. Smith's been to a final.
J.R. Smith, yeah. And Rondo, he was in the finals playing for Boston against Kobe. So they have a lot of experienced players that you know, they might not be the best. I mean, JR's JR. He's a character. Rondo's not the best. I mean, he's definitely past his prime. Dwight Howard, same thing. But the fact of the matter is they've been there before.
And also, they have great basketball minds as well, like I mentioned for the Heat. That's why they made it this far into the playoffs.
Yeah, so, yeah, I mean, it's going to be real interesting to watch. I would love to see this go to 7.
Yeah.
It probably won't, but we'll see what the Heat are made of, and we'll see if LeBron can add to his legacy. So, all right, I think that will do it for this segment. Real quick, score prediction for tomorrow night.
I really
Put you on
couldn't
the
tell
spot
you, but
here.
I think it's going to be a close one.
You think it'll be a defensive game or an offensive game?
I think it'll be more of a defensive game.
Okay, I'm going to go Miami, excuse me, I'm going to go the Lakers 120 to 106. So, you got a score real quick or no?
Nah, I don't have a score in mind.
All right, well, thank you for coming on, and Josh will finish out the show. Got the NHL draft already coming up tomorrow night, so stay tuned for that as Josh has his full analysis.
Hi. You think you're probably sober?
Yeah.
But you're thinking about taking the back roads home, just in case. If you're probably sober, then why would you do that? Good choice.
Probably okay isn't okay. If you see a warning sign, stop and call a cab, a car, or a friend.
That's a full glass of wine. I'll be chatting you later.
There are 16 million children struggling with hunger in America. That's 1 in 5 daughters, sons, neighbors, and classmates who don't know where their next meal is coming from. Yet billions of pounds of good food go to waste every year. It's time we do something about it. Feeding America is a nationwide network of food banks that helps provide meals to millions of kids and families in need. Visit feedingamerica.org to help them feed even more. Together, we can solve hunger. Together, we're feeding America.
Hamilton was adopted from a rescue in 2008. He really likes to be around people. And as soon as I start to make my breakfast, Hamilton is right there. I get out my mat and I'm doing a downward dog and he's underneath. He's quite the pug about town. He gets invited to a lot of parties. He knows he's a pretty big deal. I mean, look at this little face. How could you not love him?
It's me, Artie. Come see what I collected from the creative galaxy in my idea box.
Transform your world
Will you help me make art?
before you throw it away.
Hey, I have an idea.
Think outside the box.
Go be amazing!
Give your cardboard box another life. Recycle.
Happy to have Josh Schmidt on with us again to talk about the NHL. And Josh, a week ago tonight, Tampa won their second Stanley Cup final in franchise history.
Finally, congratulations to the Tampa Bay Lightning. We finally have a victor. It's taken so long. Speaking of victors, Victor Hedman was the Conn Smythe winner of the Stanley Cup final, which is the playoffs MVP. Another little fun fact, this was the first major sports title won in the year 2020. Or, well, I'm sorry, since the pandemic started, because the Super Bowl happened. But, yeah, so this was the first major sports title since the pandemic started, which was pretty cool.
Yeah, so you're talking about Victor Hedman. He had 10 goals and 12 assists, and his 10 goals were the third most ever scored by a defenseman in the playoffs. So he really came alive. Stamkos hadn't played since March. You know, he was out for all the playoffs. He played for, 5 shifts?
Yeah,
in Game 3?
A period and a half. But that goal he had, I no doubt in my mind that goal he had was like, hey guys, let's go. Like, I'm here. I'm only going to be here for 20 minutes. Let's go.
And another guy that really picked up his game, Andrei Vasilevsky, he was 18-7 in the postseason, a 1.90 goals against average, and a 927 save percentage and 3 shutouts. So
you can't forget about our guy Bogo.
And Zach Bogosian.
Zach Bogosian, you are a Stanley Cup champion. Good job. And I love their celebration parade. It was a pontoon boat parade. And, of course, Alex Killorn had his jet ski. If you don't know what I'm talking about, check out Alex Killorn on Doc Talk. It's a podcast he started during quarantine with his fellow teammates. He'd just ride around on his jet ski and ride up to his teammates' houses pretty much, because they all live on the water. So he would just ride around on his jet ski, go over to Stamkos's or Kucherov's or Hedman's or whatever, and he just started a podcast. It was great. But yeah, so he rode around on his jet ski, and then everyone else was on their little boats and stuff. It was cool. It was cool to see.
So yeah, the Tampa Bay Lightning have their second Stanley Cup in franchise history. The first one was won back in
04.
04, that's right. That was with Le Cavier, right?
Yep, and St. Louis.
Yep, that's right. So yes, congrats to the Lightning, and I was gonna say that's it for hockey for a little bit, but nope, we got the draft.
Got the draft, then we got free agency coming up on Friday.
We're already starting next season tomorrow night.
Speaking of free agency, quick Sabres news. The Sabres today signed Tage Thompson to a 3-year, $1.4 million deal. I just want to touch on this really quick. This is a great signing because Tage Thompson saw a lot of improvement last season in the AHL. If his shot gets just a little bit quicker, he'll probably have 20 goals next season. So either this turns into a very manageable contract of a fourth liner, or Thompson improves and moves up the lineup a little bit, sees more production, more ice time. So great signing by Kevin Adams. He's done a lot of really good moves so far. I really like how Kevin Adams has been. But we'll have to see how he does tomorrow night.
Yeah, that'll be a big test to see how he does with this first draft.
Oh, so I'm so excited. It's like Christmas Eve right now. I am so excited.
So what do you think about this draft?
All right. Well, obviously, number one, New York, Alexis Lafreniere. No doubt in my mind. Lafreniere played for Rimouski in the QMJHL. He had 112 points in 52 games. This guy, he's an absolute stud. I mean, there's no doubt in my mind he goes first overall. If the Rangers pick anyone else, obviously any of the top three are amazing players, but Lafreniere is just that one step above. And I think he'll do great in New York. But honestly, we'll have to see because you never know on draft night. Second up here, I have Tim Stützle out of the DEL. He played for Mannheim. He's a German-born player. I think he's going to go to LA. A lot of mock drafts are very uncertain about 2 and 3 because Stützle and Quinton Byfield are both very good players. Byfield has the size, but Stützle has the skill. So it's very unsure who's going to go where in this, but I think LA needs to add some style. They haven't really had a style forward much. I mean, Kopitar, he's good at, creating plays and stuff like that, but he's not what he used to be, and I think that Stützle would be a very good addition in LA considering their prospect pool. That being said, though, third overall, I have Quinton Byfield to Ottawa, the first of their 3 first-round picks. And he played for Sudbury in the OHL. He is a 6'4" forward. He's huge. Like this guy, and he's only getting bigger too. Like he's 18 years old and he's just learning how to use his size. He's kind of like a Tage Thompson almost, but better. So I think he's going to go to Ottawa. Ottawa's going to add him, and he'll complement Brady Tkachuk pretty well.
I'm going to put you on the spot here real quick. How did Ottawa get those 3 picks?
So
what were the trades there?
This third one was their pick. That is their original pick. The 5th one that I will be talking about in a second is from San Jose, the Erik Karlsson trade from a few years ago.
Yep, Erik
and
Karlsson.
then they have one at 28, I believe, which is the one they got in the Pajot trade just before the trade deadline with New York. So that one's the Islanders. So Ottawa is sitting pretty right now with 3 first-round draft picks in probably one of the deeper drafts we've seen since 2015 when Eichel and McDavid went 1 and 2. Speaking of Well, actually, no. I'm sorry. This is some uncertainty here. So Detroit is picking at number 4. For a while, they were really high on Cole Perfetti. Steve Yzerman was talking back, the GM of Detroit was talking back and forth with Perfetti for a long time. And then things went really quiet and they started talking more to Marco Rossi. So Perfetti plays, both of them play in the OHL. Perfetti plays in Saginaw, Rossi plays in Ottawa. I really don't know who's going to go where here because, like I said, they were so high on Perfetti and then they started talking to Rossi. But Yzerman has been so just wishy-washy on everything lately. Like, I mean, he picked Moritz Seider 6th overall last year, and Moritz Seider wasn't even projected to go in the first round. So I really don't know what's going on in the head of Steve Yzerman. Personally, I think they will go for Cole Perfetti just because I know how he can be, and I know how Yzerman likes to get in the heads of other people. I mean, even when he's drafting players like this, because he wants to see how they'll react and what they'll do, see if they're going to be professional or not. So I hope they pick for Perfetti as well, because that would mean I think that Rossi would follow the Sabres at 8, but I wouldn't mind Perfetti or Rossi. So as I said, Ottawa has 2 picks in the top 10. This next pick at number 5 is a complete wild card. They probably will pick Jamie Drysdale out of the Erie Otters in the OHL, but they could go for Lucas Raymond from the SHL. They could go for Jake Sanderson out of the USA. They could go for, way off the board, Yaroslav Askarov, the top-ranked goalie in the draft, who some people think will go in the top 10. And honestly, it would be a very Ottawa move to pick Askarov, and I really hope it happens because then better players will keep falling lower and lower to the Sabres' 8th pick and any pick they might trade for or for any other team. So, like I said, this one's a complete wild card. I mean, me and my friends have talked about this a lot, and we are not entirely sure where Ottawa's going to go here. It's completely up in the air.
I have a Sabres question for you, but do you want to do the New Jersey one first?
Right, yeah. Let me. So, continuing on, Anaheim picks 6th overall. I think, depending on, like I said, that wild card pick, they'll take either Jamie Drysdale or Lucas Raymond. Like I said, it really, a lot of this depends on what Ottawa decides to do. It depends on if they decide to be smart or if they decide to not be smart. 7th, I have Alexander Holtz, who has fallen out of favor in a lot of mock drafts. I have him going to New Jersey. He played in the SHL for a team I can't pronounce because it's Swedish. And he's fallen to, I think, 18th in some rankings. And I don't know why exactly, but I think this is still a great player, and I think New Jersey would love to add him to their repertoire. So, getting to 8th with the Buffalo pick. Like I said, I think if Marco Rossi isn't selected, I think he can fall to 8th. A lot of mock drafts have him falling there. Craig Button with TSN, one of the draft gurus, has him going 8th to Buffalo. But like I said, who knows what Yzerman's going to do? Who knows what Ottawa's going to do? It's really a lot up in the air. And who knows if the Sabres might even trade this pick. I don't know if they've been in trade talks with Arizona, but I think there have been rumors that teams have been. Because Arizona doesn't have a first-round pick this year or next year. So if one of the proposed trades that I had for this was the 8th overall, Rasmus Ristolainen, Casey Middlestat, to Arizona for Clayton Keller, Darcy Kemper, and Oliver Ekman-Larsson. Now, I don't think that that's anywhere in the rumor sphere, but if Arizona was to go for a pick, I think this would be one of the main ones they would target, because anything higher than this, and they'd have to give up way too much. So it's going to be interesting to see if Kevin Adams tries to move this. I hope he doesn't really if Marco Rossi is available. If Rossi isn't available, that opens up a lot of opportunity. What was your Sabres question? We can get back to that.
Yeah, so I was going to say, what do you think the biggest position of need is tomorrow night in the draft?
For the Sabres?
Yeah.
Wing depth. We need to assess our wing, prospect pool and just anything really, because I think Marco Rossi could be an immediate NHL impact. Some scouts say he is, some scouts say he's not. I wouldn't mind him either way, because I think he's either a year out or 2 years out. I don't think he's anything farther than that. But I'm really excited to see who they take tomorrow night, and I really hope it's Marco Rossi.
Well, that Eric Saul acquisition might have been foreshadowing that they might be taking a winger, because now they have their second-line center, Middlestat,
and
if he's ready, and Cousins, third-line center. So like you said, wing depth is key.
Right. And to quickly round out the top 10 here, I have Anton Lundell to Minnesota. He is from another Swedish league, SM Liga. And at number 10, the USA guy, Jake Sanderson to Winnipeg. He's a big-time defenseman. I think Winnipeg could really use some defensive help right now. So that rounds out the top 10. But like I said, it's really uncertain. The top 20 guys in this draft could probably go in the top 10. So it's going to be really up in the air, and we'll have to see how it happens.
All right, well, thank you for coming on, Josh. Thank you for watching. And a couple quick updates here. Yankees are leading the race 2-1 in the bottom of the third. The Patriots are trailing the Chiefs 13-3 towards the end of the third quarter of that one. And then the Packers and the Falcons are about to kick off. So thank you again for joining us, and we will be back next week for episode 4. Have a good rest of your night and week. And go Bills.